Hi, welcome to the Knowing You Show with Tiffany Cano. I do these interviews with empathic, sensitive, intuitive, spiritual souls that are part of my community. And today I have a guest, Elaine Gibson, who is here. Yay! She helps people to get their life renewed, help them to be healthier, help them to release excess weight, um, get your foods aligned in a way where your hormones are balanced. There's a lot of funky things happening out there with our food and our water and our environment, and Elaine is going to shed some light on that in a moment. So let's just first welcome Elaine.
Thank you. I'm so thrilled. I'm so honored to be here. I'm so excited.
And what part of the world are you in?
I'm in God's country here. I live in what's called the Northern Shenandoah Valley in Virginia. It's the northern end of the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia. And it's about 2 hours outside of Washington, D.C. And the interesting thing about that is I grew up in the middle of New York City. So this city girl has moved to the country for the vibration. Yeah, my husband and I closed our home of 30 years last year. And we built the house. We're in a 55 and over resort community. And we are just watching the sunrise in the morning and the moon and set and the rainbows and the deer and the bear too. Yeah, that's where I am.
Nice. And so is this the kind of environment that soothes your soul? It sounds like it.
Oh my goodness, how perceptive are you? Absolutely. We were not looking for this. We were not really looking to move. We had talked about it a little bit. I'm 75, so we talked about it, retiring, and of course, who retires when they have their own business and a calling, right? But yes, it's kind of the result of being called to a place because my vibration has gotten so much stronger as I embrace the lifestyle that I have, that I was literally led here by the universe.
Nice.
Yeah, I walk out almost every night, right outside my front porch. We watch again, I'm a city girl from New York, so we walk a quarter of a mile up the block, and at the end of the street, the cow farm is across the street, and I talk to them and I wave to them like my children. Such joy so I walk out at night. Sometimes when it's a beautiful night, I just lie on the ground, quiet, peacefully, and look at the sky. Just be in my jammies,
Yeah, I love nature and animals. It's so restorative and loving,
Yeah. The interesting thing is that when we just happen to be positioned, nothing is by coincidence, obviously. So there's this big picture window in our bedroom, and I open my eyes, and because I get up early, first thing I see is the sun rising. And this time of year, there's a 2 or 3 minute period where it is literally staring me in the eyes. And it's, sometimes I go, "Hi, Dad." It's just that kind of connection is just magical. I don't even know a better word than magical.
How else do you connect to Source?
Great question. In ways that many people may not think of it. One of the ways that I connect with Source is by the food that I eat and how I feed my cells. And I came about that when I was in a medical crisis, healing from stage 4 cancer in 2008. And as I was finding a lifestyle of cleaner food, really, I call it literally eating from God's garden, it's like this veil started to lift. and I would see things and feel things at a different level that I had never experienced. So the cleaner my cells are, the less inflammation, the less toxicity. It's just all oxygen and beauty. And I do a lot of meditation. Never did it as a child. Didn't even know about it until a few years ago. My son, who's now 50, got me into meditation, and I start every morning with a 34-minute before I get out of bed, 34-minute of Abraham's morning start a new day. That's before my feet hit the ground, and I do a lot of meditation. I have a lot of music on. I'm a music person. I'm a theater person, and I have a graduate degree in dance, but I did a lot of choreography. It's just that rhythm and the joy and the abundance. So this may sound funny, but I'm sure to you and your audience it won't sound funny. I have music on all the time, and I won't say her name, but you know who I mean is right here. And I'll go, so-and-so, play Judy Garland. Or so-and-so, play Ocean Waves for me. I'm very rhythmic, I'm very musical, and those are ways that I do it.
I love doing the 5 rhythms with music. Gabrielle Roth teaches the 5 rhythms, also known as the wave, and it's like flow, staccato, chaos, lyrical, stillness, and just to like get the body moving in all of those different kinds of tempos and rhythms is so fun and healing. I pray and I'm like, God, release this stuff out of me, and just let the rhythm take me. Dance like no one's looking.
Well, I love that. That's why we have like this connection and this, it's aside from energy, I think it's a rhythm of life, and we're in a new house, and even though we're on the East Coast, they're California builders, so it's the first time they're in this area. So all the homes are like lodgy and craftsmen on the outside, but the inside is all West Coast California floor plan. So what I'm getting at is I have the floor plan we selected. This is total open floor plan, totally open. The living room, the kitchen, the great room, the dining room. So I have this, and we have wood floors. So of course I have to have my dance floor, right? So I am dancing and twirling and singing at the top of my lungs when I'm alone. Sometimes Nevin will come in and he'll kind of roll his eyes and walk by. And then sometimes we dance together.
Is this one of the ways that you combine health and spirituality?
Yes. And I think they must be. I don't think you can have one to its fullest without the other. Because when the connection between the gut and the brain is real. And if we are toxic in our cells, then we don't get that clean connection to our brain, to our heart, to all of that. If we're toxic one place, we are toxic all over. And I find that interestingly, the more I get into this space and this work, which I'm adoring, like at 75, I should be retired, and I'm not. I'm just loving this. Really, all my friends here, they're like biking all the time, and they're yeah, we all have our own journey. But I find that a lot of people are spending beautiful time, which I love, learning how to meditate and yoga and all that, but they forget about the other piece. And you can look up to source, but you have to look down as well to God's garden, because it's from the same source. It's that same vibration. And then a lot of people that come to me for the health piece or the food piece and getting in control of their lifestyle, we start in there, but what I bring in immediately is the other piece, and teach them how to have this self-care. So many people are coming to me and they're saying, Elaine, I'm so busy, I don't have time to take care of yourself. Well, if you're not going to take care of yourself, how can you take care of anybody else? So we work on that piece, the spiritual, the energy, and
Mhm.
find easy ways to implement simple things like having a diffuser going all the time. I mean, how easy
Mm.
is that? I mean,
What's your favorite essential oil? Like I'm an oil girl too. So
right.
what's your
So
favorite oils to diffuse for different scenarios?
yeah, different scenarios. So I've got In Tune on my desk,
Nice.
but I've got my diffuser over here. It's actually on the floor because I didn't want the table messed up for this. I took it off. I diffuse with wild orange during the day,
Love
and
it.
yep, and I always put some on guard in there also because I'm very conscious about the immune system. So those are the two that I love to diffuse. And then in the evening, I'll diffuse lavender in by my bed, and I also use them to create what I call a miracle bath, which is a hot bubble bath with oils, with Epsom salt, and with
Mhm.
hydrogen peroxide. And, when you can get somebody just to quiet down, and then I bring in my phone and I listen to music. Sometimes I listen to a book or whatever I'm listening to, but it's quieting down. So in the evening, I'll use lavender. In the
We're
morning,
so in sync. I just have to tell
uh,
you, like I take salt baths every day with essential oils. I diffuse the same oils that you're talking about.
maybe we're sisters in another life. Or
Maybe.
maybe you're my daughter in another life.
Hmm.
Yeah, soul sisters. No, well, we knew it right away. But yeah, and that's a big deal. Listen, I had my 22-year-old grandson here for a week, and he took a bubble bath like this. It
Oh
was
wow.
an hour. My husband said, "Why would you bring it up to him?" I said, "When he was 3 weeks, I was bathing him in our house. See, and he loved it. But it's so important because, especially now, when there's additional stress layers, there's additional layers of stressors that we're taking on that are not part of our usual bucket. Our
Hmm.
cup is running over with all these new things that we're having to learn, and it's so important to stay grounded and to stay present. And so I again, that piece, but the food is huge, and water, and the right kind of water. But feeding your cells is I have found that concept, when someone can grasp the fact that feeding your cells is where the real magic comes in, then it's a big it's a big transformational moment, because it gives them an opportunity to take small incremental steps, new choices that are just small, that have a huge impact. And once you start to feel that way, you're never going back. Then they become lifelong habits and patterns, rather than these crazy fad diets make me worried. I worry about them
Yeah.
too.
I I started a garden this year. And I have like one or two of all the vegetables and several fruit things, and many are going to take longer to grow this season. And then I have some stuff like asparagus, which won't
Wow.
be around for a couple of seasons. I think at least three more years, and my artichokes in a year, and
My
my
goodness.
grapes, and um,
I'll be right over.
goji berries, tomatoes,
You're
broccoli,
kidding.
like I have a lot. But
God.
I've only been able to eat like a couple of strawberries here and there, my lettuce, a few raspberries here and there. I wish they would all be ripe and ready.
we can't wish God's timing. I always feel
I
that's
know, surrender.
but I love that you mentioned that. I mean, I use something called a tower garden. I don't know if you're familiar with the tower
Yeah,
garden.
I am.
Yeah, and so I've had it for like 5 years now, and it's overgrowing. I have my neighbors coming to cut stuff and get it. Yeah, and so I always have fresh produce right outside my door, right outside our porch, our dining room, sliding door on the deck.
Uh-huh.
And it's always going. It's always going, and it's amazing. It makes a big difference, and it saves so much money and tastes so delicious. For the first time, I tried broccoli. Remember, please remember, I'm the city girl from the middle of New York, so this is like, I mean, listen. I grow sprouts. I talk to my sprouts. Hi, honey. How are you? Come on, we love you. So all of a sudden, I mean, there were these big broccoli leaves. I thought it was broccoli, and then I thought, well, maybe it really wasn't broccoli. And I looked in about 5 days ago, and there was this tiny little head, and I was so excited. I was cheering it on.
I totally do the same. Like, good job, keep growing.
Absolutely.
You did so good. Keep going.
You can do it. I love you.
I call them my greenie babies.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Those are my greenie babies. And so we've talked about food and nature and meditation and things that help to soothe the soul and invigorate people. What else do you recommend that helps the clients that you work with, and in what ways do you work with them?
Well, the ways I work with them, I have private clients. I have a handful at a time. I take on only 5 private clients a month because I just can't do more than that. It's a 4-month program, so I do a lot of speaking. I do a lot of writing. I have a new program coming out, which I'm really excited about. Finally, finishing it, called The Radiance Effect. I do things like this, to talk about, and I've created my own workshops through the years, and I have a mastermind, and things like that. And the thing that the most important thing that I can work on with a client and anybody that listens to me is that we need to really be aware that our body is talking to us all the time. And when we can understand that our body is whispering to us, then we can be proactive before we get hit with a serious diagnosis like I had.
Mm-hmm.
My body talked to me for years before that. And I'm finding that there's a lot of disruptions in our body that don't really need to be there. And so if I can help people understand kind of this theory that I've created and on my own journey, is that our cells are starving. When our cells are starving, we're in crisis mode and nothing works. And we are in total control. And you look at now, we're right in the middle of a disaster, pandemic that's a disaster.
Yeah.
However, there are not quite a few, but there are just a few things that make me berserk. Literally, not figuratively, not literally. And nothing works. And that is that with all the information going on and all the people that are out there, there's nobody talking about your immune system. There's nobody talking about, hey, everybody, the best defense
is a good offense.
Good offense. Hello. If people aren't taking this seriously now, to get our house in order, when will they ever? I kind of feel like that's part of the reason that we're experiencing this now, because we're a very lazy society when it comes to our own self-care. And I say that lovingly.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can convey that in a time where we feel totally out of control, that this is the one area that we are in total control. We are in total control. What we put in our bodies, what we put in our minds, chemicals we put in our homes. I bring a comprehensive solution. And so it's everything, the lifestyle of everything. So this is the time. So if I can get somebody to understand that when we're out of sync, it's because it's an inside job, whether it's here or here or here, that we're in total control, and it's really not about willpower, it's about skill power and just learning a few things to tweak that have transformational results.
Mm-hmm.
So really getting people to understand that they are in total control when in a time they feel they have no control.
And I know that you've got a great gift that's like 3 gifts in one that can give them better access to taking that control. Can you talk about your gift for people?
So we call it the Feel Fab Trio. And I've written and put together several beautiful ebooks, because they have to be, if they're not beautiful, no one's going to like them, right? They have to
Mm-hmm.
appeal to our senses as well. And I was thinking, okay, so there's a free gift. And I'm a Jewish grandmother. I've got 11 grandchildren. I always want to do more and give more. So I said to my assistant, let's pull together our 3 faves, our 3 favorite books, and create one. So because 3 gifts are better than 1. So we have 10 juices for radiant skin.
Mm-hmm.
Radiant skin comes from the inside. You want to cure acne? Get rid of the toxins in your body. That is one. The other one is food and hormones, because hormones can make us very frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is 5 easy ways to start to get raw foods into your lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Real good combination. It's your hormones and your skin, and just beginning to bring the right foods easily and beautifully into your lifestyle. And the combination of those 3 will have a huge impact.
Thank you. I concur. So everyone go and pick up her gift. I put it in the chat so that you can get access to it and start taking care of yourself in a more loving way.
Right?
We can start small so that these habits can go into our everyday lifestyle.
Lifestyle, right? I just want to make one point before we conclude, and that is, my sweet spot is women over 45, and we feel that it's selfish when we take time for ourselves. I hear that all the time. They're not making time for themselves, where it's like selfish. And I want to say that the only way to really take care of the people that you love is to be in your own best health. And when we don't do that, that's being selfish. When we don't take the time for ourselves, because that's the foundation of our ability to give to others. So I really wanted to reframe that. Anytime that we have self-care, or, any kind of work, it's really for not only for ourselves, but for the people that we love. And
Yes,
yeah, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
I agree. I think it's so important. I mean, I'm a giver, you're a giver. And for my own self care, I have like a spa at my house.
Mhm.
Like
Right,
with hyperbaric oxygen chambers
right.
and massage chairs and a QRS mat and a steam sauna and
Mhm.
things like that. And that's just a few of them
Uh,
to
I
take
know.
care of me so that I can keep going, taking care of other people.
Exactly. Exactly.
So thank you for, sharing and emphasizing that. And everyone, please do pick up her gift. And thanks again, Elaine, for spending some time with us
Oh,
today.
I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Thank you. And anybody else in our empathic community that has something cool happening in your life, personally or professionally, you have something insightful that you want to share, reach out to me and we'll get you interviewed on. And then as we learn more about each other, we can have better connections, better friendships, even do business with people that we like.
Mhm.
So I think that it's fun to do these interviews and reach out if you want to be one of them. And also tonight at 6 o'clock, I'm doing the Blessings for Humanity. So
Mm.
please join me in that 6 o'clock Pacific time. I'll be live streaming it again. Okay. Have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.
Everybody.